Some anime characters were never meant to win. But for every character the world praises, there's another it quietly abandons. Think about it. They didn't make bad choices. They didn't lack strength. They were simply chosen to lose over and over again. How many characters fought harder than the main cast, loved deeper than the heroes, and still ended up punished for it? Characters who gave everything, their bodies, their sanity, their future, and were rewarded with death, blame, or silence. This is the part of anime we don't like to talk about, because celebrating power is easy, but acknowledging suffering makes us uncomfortable. Welcome to Rift Anime. This is where we don't rank strength or hype. We dig up the characters the story quietly broke and moved on from. Today we're talking about anime characters who deserved better. Not because they were perfect, but because the world was cruel to them when they had nothing left to give. Let's begin. Number 10 is Kyojuro Rengoku from Demon Slayer. Rengoku entered the story already prepared to die. He carried the burden of his title with pride, even though his own family had turned its back on the Hashira path. Despite this, Rengoku never let bitterness shape him. He chose optimism in a world drowning in despair, smiling even as death closed in around him. His fight against Akaza wasn't just a battle of strength, it was a clash of philosophies. Rengoku fought to protect lives he would never know, fully aware that no one was coming to save him. He stood his ground not because he could win, but because retreat would betray everything he believed in. Rengoku deserved to live long enough to see the future he defended. He deserved recognition beyond becoming a symbol. Instead, his death became motivation for others, while he himself never got to experience the peace he died for. Number 9 is Kento Nanami from Jujutsu Kaisen. Nanami is the definition of someone who tried to live the right way and was punished for it. He left the sorcerer world because it broke him, choosing a quiet, empty corporate life instead. Even then, he wasn't happy, but he accepted it, believing adulthood meant enduring dissatisfaction. When he returned to Jujutsu Society, it wasn't for glory or revenge. It was because someone had to protect the younger generation from suffering the same way he did. What makes Nanami tragic isn't just his death. It's that he never got relief. He carried trauma, exhaustion, and moral clarity in a world that rewarded chaos. While others chased power or ideology, Nanami just wanted fairness. He fought knowing the system was broken, and that he would never be thanked for holding it together. Nanami deserved a life where responsibility didn't crush him. He deserved rest, peace, and to see a world that improved because of his sacrifices. Instead, he died doing his duty. Quietly, brutally. Just another good man consumed by a cruel system. Number 8 is Bartholomew Kuma from One Piece. Kuma was never a monster. Only the world made him look like one. Behind the title of tyrant was a man who endured slavery, experimentation, and the slow erasure of his own humanity without ever turning cruel. Every step of his life was shaped by sacrifice, even when he knew no one would thank him for it. Kuma's greatest strength wasn't his power. It was his willingness to suffer silently for others. What makes Kuma tragic is how completely he gave himself away. He protected the Straw Hats, safeguarded their ship for years, and allowed his mind to be destroyed to serve a cause he believed in. No farewell, no acknowledgement, just obedience born from compassion. By the time the world realized what he had done, there was barely a person left to thank. Kuma deserved freedom, memory, and the right to choose his own life. Instead, he became a weapon stripped of identity, reduced to a tool by the very system he helped fight. He didn't lose his humanity because he was weak. He lost it because he was too kind to refuse. Number 7 is Sasha Blouse from Attack on Titan. Sasha was introduced as comic relief, but that label never fit who she truly was. Beneath the jokes and food obsession was a girl shaped by fear, poverty, and survival. Growing up hunted by titans and scarcity, Sasha learned early that life could disappear at any moment, and that made every small joy worth holding on to. Her laughter wasn't stupidity, it was defiance. What makes Sasha's story cruel is how human it was. She wasn't chasing glory or ideals. She just wanted to live, eat, and protect the people she cared about. Even when she became a soldier, her instincts were always protective, always selfless. She saved strangers, shielded children, and fought not because she loved war, but because she understood loss. Sasha deserved a future where survival didn't come with a bullet. She deserved peace after years of fear. Instead, Her life ended suddenly, not as a grand sacrifice, but as a reminder that in brutal worlds, even the kindest people are taken without mercy. Number 6 is Hyakimaru from Dororo. Hyakimaru was sacrificed before he ever lived. His father traded his body to demons for power, leaving him born without senses, limbs, or voice. He entered the world already robbed of humanity, forced to fight just to reclaim what should have been his by birth. What makes Hyakimaru's pain unbearable is his innocence. He never sought revenge. He sought wholeness. Each demon he defeated gave him back a piece of himself, but also forced him to confront the truth. His suffering was never an accident. It was a choice made by someone else. Hyakimaru deserved a childhood, not a battlefield. He deserved love before pain. Instead, he had to earn his humanity piece by piece, through bloodshed that was never his fault. Even when his body was finally restored, the scars of what was taken from him never truly healed. The world gave him his life back, but it could never give him back the innocence it stole. Number 5 is Thorfinn Karlsefni from Vinland Saga. Thorfinn's life was consumed by a revenge he never truly understood. As a child, he watched his father die and mistook hatred for purpose. The battlefield raised him, sharpened him, and hollowed him out long before he could process grief. What makes Thorfinn tragic is that his violence achieved nothing. Years of killing brought no peace, only emptiness. When the man he hated died, Thorfinn was left with nothing but guilt and a lifetime of blood on his hands. Thorfinn deserved guidance, not manipulation. He deserved to mourn instead of becoming a weapon. What hurts most is that no one stopped him when he was still a child drowning in rage. Thorfinn deserved someone to save him before violence became the only language he knew. By the time he realized revenge had stolen his entire childhood, there was nothing left to reclaim except regret. Number 4 is Neji Hyuga from Naruto. Neji was born into a cage he never chose. Marked by fate before he could speak, he was taught that his life existed to serve another's bloodline. That belief hardened him, not because he lacked kindness, but because hope felt like a lie designed to hurt him later. What makes Neji tragic is that he proved fate wrong, only to die reinforcing it. Through Naruto, Neji learned that destiny could be challenged, that identity wasn't inherited, it was earned. He became stronger not just physically, but emotionally, finally believing his life had value beyond sacrifice. Neji deserved to live free of the system that broke him. He deserved years to define himself beyond duty and death. Instead, his life ended as a shield, ironically fulfilling the role he spent his entire life trying to escape. Number 3 is Ash Lynx from Banana Fish. Ash Lynx never had a childhood. It was stolen and sold before it could exist. Raised in abuse and crime, Ash learned early that intelligence and strength were the only shields the world respected. Every connection he formed was built under the threat of violence or exploitation. What makes Ash's story devastating is how close he came to freedom. Through Eiji, Ash glimpsed a life untouched by fear, a version of himself that could exist without running or killing. He didn't want power. He wanted peace. Ash deserved escape. He deserved safety and a future untouched by his past. Ash didn't die because he was weak. He died because the world never allowed him to escape its grip. Freedom was always just one step away. And that's what makes his ending unbearable. Number 2 is Kaneki Ken from Tokyo Ghoul. Ken's suffering began the moment he survived. Forced into a body and identity he never chose, he was torn apart for simply existing. Every attempt he made to hold on to kindness was met with cruelty, torture, and loss. What makes Kaneki tragic is how much he endured without becoming heartless. He broke again and again, rebuilding himself through pain instead of healing. The world demanded strength from him, but never offered understanding. Kaneki deserved acceptance, not constant transformation through trauma. He deserved a life where survival didn't mean losing himself. Every transformation stripped away another part of who he was, until pain became his identity. Kaneki deserved healing, not a life where suffering was the only way forward. In the end, Kaneki wasn't afraid of dying. He was afraid that pain was the only way the world would ever let him exist. Number 1 is Guts from Berserk. Guts was born into death, and the world never stopped reminding him. From childhood onward, every bond he formed ended in betrayal or loss. Survival was never a phase. It was his entire existence. What makes Guts unbearable to watch is his persistence. Despite unimaginable trauma, he keeps moving forward, carrying pain no one should survive. Every time he finds something worth protecting, fate rips it away violently. Guts deserved rest. He deserved peace without fighting for it. The cruelest part of Guts' story is that rest is never an option for him. He keeps moving not because he wants to, but because stopping means breaking completely. His strength isn't proof of resilience. It's evidence of how much suffering one human being was forced to endure just to stay alive. And even then, the world continues to demand more from him, as if his pain has no limit. These are the characters who gave everything, and still weren't given enough. They fought wars they never chose, carried pain they never deserved, and lived in worlds that asked for sacrifice but never offered mercy. Their stories aren't about victory, they're about endurance. If any of these names stayed with you, it's because their suffering meant something. And as long as we remember them, they're not truly forgotten. I'll see you in the next video where we bring more stories like these back into the spotlight.